So we got a good question from our buddy Chris here, who's wondering what the heck flow rolling is. He said that his instructors and friends in the gym have mentioned it, but never really explained it. And he said he's been training for about 4 months. And I kind of asked him if he's a little bit spazzy sometimes, which obviously he said, yeah, a little spazzy. And he goes on to ask about flow rolling, along with, what is it? Is it a good way to rep techniques? So Chris, first off, thanks for the question, brother. And if you're watching this and you're wondering what flow rolling is, hopefully this video is helpful to you. So I'm going to share first off what I sort of use as a working definition as to what flow rolling is. So the working definition that I use is, 1, you are rolling with a person without any actual intention of winning. You're not trying to win, right? Your goal with flow rolling is to just that, flow. It's an exchange of techniques. So even if I catch a submission, so let's say I catch an armbar from guard, I get the armbar, I will extend it to where I know that I have it, and then I will release pressure, so this way this person can defend it and then escape. And likewise, when I'm going through the motions, I will maybe pass guard, get to dominant position. Once I get to dominant position, I'll make sure that all the little things there, like I've got good control everywhere it needs to be, good. I'll release a little bit of pressure and then allow my partner to escape. And then they'll escape and they'll basically give me their technical exchange there, and then they will stop, and then I go, and then I stop, and then they go, and you go back and forth. And again, it's just a flow. There's different ways to go about this. This is the way that I like to do it because, again, it's an exchange of techniques back and forth. Because a lot of times if you do it to where you're both kind of halfway going, at least in my experience as a white belt myself and from watching my white belts, when you don't do it sort of on like a turn-based system where you go and then I go, when you kind of go at the same time, it ends up just devolving into a full roll. The second sort of part of it is, along with that sort of idea of not winning, there's no resistance. So you want to give them a look. You don't want to just flop over, right? And you might even like post out a hand or a foot to kind of give them a good look of maybe a common defense that someone might use or a common counter, but you don't fully resist. Right? Because again, when you start to resist, then they start to have to muscle things, and then when they muscle things, then it ratchets it up, and then boom, before you know it, you're doing another flow roll, and that intensity has just gone too high. And so you want to make sure that you don't resist fully, because again, you're not trying to win, you're just trying to exchange techniques, and even if they sweep you, you will then have your moment to escape and everything else. Now, is this a good way to rep techniques? Sort of. So the biggest benefit I think for flow rolling is, 1, is it can be very helpful for white belts to get rid of some of that spazziness that they have, because it addresses 2 of the issues that people have with, again, there's 2 really big issues I think with being spazzy. There's some other ones, but the 2 big ones I think are, 1, people are way too competitive in the beginning, and it's not their fault, it's just how it is, right? Again, it's comforting to the ego to win. A lot of times when you're new, you kind of you're scratching and biting just to get yourself a little bit of comfort of being like, well, I'm not the worst dude here. And then, but again, that's a problem, because that overly competitive mindset will lead to you being very restrictive on your game. You won't open up and play with things. You get frustrated with yourself. So being able to roll in a way where you're not actually trying to win is helpful, because it allows you to understand that you don't have to win every time in jiu-jitsu to get some value from it, right? You can exchange these techniques, and we can go back and forth, and it's okay. Right? And that allows you to sort of close the gap, because you think about it like there's repping a technique, and then there's doing the technique against someone like who's of similar skill or higher skill level than you at full speed, like during rolling. There's this big gap in between. So flow rolling can be a way to sort of get something in the middle there and learn that there's different gears to jiu-jitsu. Second thing is, a lot of times people are spazzy, especially in the beginning, just because they're ignorant. This is not derogatory. This is just how it is, right? You don't know what the hell's going on, so what are you going to do? You're someone, especially when you get like a white belt who, maybe they've been to a couple classes, and then they go to all right, full roll, and then they're full rolling, and obviously they don't know what the heck they're doing half the time, so they they do something, and they elbow someone or headbutt someone on accident, and then you hear someone go, stupid white belt, right? So again, being able to play around in these positions allows a person a lot of time to sort of just tinker with it. See, what happens if I press this leg this way? What happens if I push here? What happens if I turn this way? And it allows them to do this in a much more calm, passive state, rather than being in that high intensity state of a full roll, right? And this allows them to calm down and sort of experiment with the position and get that feedback, because when you roll, right, you're getting constant feedback, right? If you post your hand on the mat and someone puts you in a kimura, that's telling you, okay, your feedback is don't put your damn hand on the mat. So you put them on the body, right? So same thing with flow rolling. You get that feedback there, but it's in a much more relaxed state, so it's a little bit easier to take in. Now, I don't think it's the best way to rep techniques. I think that, again, you have to go rep techniques, and just that, you have to rep them out. I think that, you need to rep techniques to the point where you can like hold a conversation with someone and your body's like doing everything. So you're going for like arm bars over here, boom, boom, and you're just like talking to someone over there, right? You're not even thinking about it. It's so automatic to your body. And that takes time, and it takes a lot of repetition. So I would say that you want to make sure you try to get those reps in. If for some reason you cannot rep your techniques, and again, I've seen people, and I have students that are like this, right? When they come into the gym, they've got this hour block, right, or 2 hour block, or whatever your class time is. It's the time that their wives or some significant others have allotted them. They have to get that training in, and then they got to get out of here, because otherwise they're going to be in trouble, right? So if that is the situation that you're in, then when you get ready to roll, limit yourself to the techniques that you were trying to work on. Have something in mind, right? Again, there's times where you want to come in and just flow and just kind of move with it, right? But if you're actively trying to get better at something like an arm bar or a kimura, whatever it is, right? Then work with that. Really go after that submission and only that submission, or if it's a position, right? Like maybe you're trying to get better at half guard, then you should be trying to actively get yourself to half guard the whole time. And again, you can use this for any situation, but restricting yourself to rolling with a particular focus or goal is going to be helpful if you can't rep your techniques live. So I think that's about it. So Chris, I hope this helps you, brother. It kind of gives you a definition of what flow rolling is. Make sure that if you decide to give flow rolling a try, make sure you have a good partner, because again, if you have a partner that starts to muscle things, it's just going to devolve into a full roll. I think you said that's happened before. So make sure that you get a good partner and you guys understand together, like, look, we're not trying to win. We're trying to sort of tinker with the position a little bit, figure stuff out, so that this way later on we kind of say, that thing I learned, that when you're doing it, you can kind of play around with it a little bit more under sort of, again, you're not going full speed, but you're not here just repping the technique. You're somewhere in the middle, right? It lets you do it with a little bit of movement and helps you bridge the gap between the two. So I'm done talking. Talk to you guys next time.
Get a grip.